So I am terrible at the hokey pokey. This will become relevant later, but it's probably because we don't take fun nearly seriously enough. I mean, at best, we're kind of dismissive of fun. At worst, we're distrustful, even hostile toward it. I mean, just look at the way we talk about games or play, the way they show up in language. You know, we tell people, well, this isn't a game, or complain that somebody is gaming the system. We tell them, don't play games with me, or, dismiss someone or write someone off because, they're such a player. But of course, as is so often with humans, we are self-contradicting or maybe self-flagellating when it comes to the idea of fun and games. In her book, Reality is Broken, Jane McGonigal observes that collectively people around the world spend billions of hours playing games every week, mostly video games. And at the same time, we are collectively worrying that games are a waste of time. As we make these value judgments, hold moral debates over the addictive quality of games, simultaneously rush to achieve massive industry expansion, McGonigal writes, a vital point is being missed. The fact that so many people of all ages, all over the world, are choosing to spend so much time in game worlds is a sign of something important, a truth that we urgently need to recognize. And that truth? Play is serious business. And if we want the world to be a better place, if we want to nurture happiness, if we are going to be agents of not only compassion, but of joy in this world, we need to take silliness seriously. I mean, not so seriously that we take all the fun out of it. Which reminds me, would you like to hear two short jokes and a long joke? Here they go. Joke, joke, joke. All right, it wasn't that funny. In the 1970s, American psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi focused his 7-year research project on this concept of flow, which is something we've heard about now, but was pretty new at the time. And he defined that as the satisfying, exhilarating feeling of creative accomplishment and heightened functioning. What he found was there was very little flow to be found in people's daily lives, but it was abundant in games and play. When playing, he wrote, people regularly achieve the greatest form of happiness available to human beings. Intense, optimistic engagement with the world around us. We feel fully alive, full of potential and purpose. In other words, we are completely activated as human beings. Now, there are other ways to achieve this happiness, certainly, but his research found it most reliably in the goals, in the obstacles, in the continuous feedback of gameplay. Games, he wrote, are an obvious source of flow, and play is the flow experience par excellence. But wait, obstacles? Obstacles are the key to happiness? Turns out yes. As philosopher Bernard Suits put it, playing a game is a voluntary attempt to overcome unnecessary obstacles. And think about it. Scrabble is just typing with obstacles. Golf? That game would be a lot easier if we just carried that little ball around and dropped it in the little hole. And did you ever play The Floor is Lava as a kid? I mean, that is really just a complicated way to get across a room, as well as an excuse to jump up and down on the furniture. So we don't want easy. We think we do, but we're wrong. Once 30 years ago now, probably, I told Amy, I don't know what fun is. Turns out I was right. I was kind of joking, but we just don't. We all seem to think that we want easy, laid-back, relaxed fun, but researchers have found that a lot of what people think of as fun, relaxing fun like watching TV, eating chocolate, window shopping, just chilling out, doesn't actually make us feel any better. That kind of passive fun will leave us feeling unmotivated, less confident, less engaged with the world. Play is kind of work. It's just work that we choose. And in making that choice, we let it engage us. And through that engagement, let it connect us to the world and to other people. Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh defines mindfulness as keeping one's consciousness alive to the present reality. Mindfulness practice aims to help us be as awake as possible, as aware of as possible, as much of the time as possible. The Buddhist Sutra of Mindfulness says this: when walking, the practitioner must be conscious that he is walking. When sitting, the practitioner must be conscious that he is sitting. When lying down, the practitioner must be conscious that he is lying down. Look, far be it from me to argue with the Buddha, but that does seem like a notion that you can take too far. I would struggle to be mindful of walking, for example, without constantly thinking, hey, I'm being mindful of walking now. Or more likely, am I mindful enough that I'm walking? Am I doing this right? Which reminds me, what did the Buddhist say to the hot dog vendor? Make me one with everything. So play, I think, can be mindfulness without thinking about it so hard. It's a little bit of a shortcut. What all play has in common, psychiatrist Stuart Brown told the Washington Post, is that it offers a sense of engagement and pleasure. Takes the player out of a sense of time and place, and the experience of doing it, of playing, is more important than the outcome. It is being absorbed in the game, in the story, in the adventure. It is narrowly escaping the lava on the floor, soaking in every word from the dolls or the stuffed animals at the tea party, going on a picnic with your new stuffed bunny and picking blackberries with him, battling the dragon in the backyard, building architecturally preposterous houses out of Legos, making up silly songs, laughing at bad jokes, badly told. And just that. In that moment, only that. As Thich Nhat Hanh wrote, live the actual moment. Only this actual moment is life. Don't be attached to the future. Don't worry about things you have to do. Don't think about getting up or taking off to do anything. Don't think about departing. Which is easier said than done, certainly for most of us who aren't Buddhist monks. Mindfulness meditation is a way to find that moment. And for almost 6 months now, I've practiced that kind of meditation every day. And every now and then in those meditations, I have actually fully been in the actual moment for maybe as much as 30 seconds, probably closer to 15 seconds. But what I've only recently realized is that I've been reaching that state, that being in the moment, from time to time, almost my whole life, by just playing. As a kid, the first house my family owned, it seemed to me and my brother like it was made for us to play in. The furniture in the basement was set up just close enough to make playing the floor is lava possible, challenging us to find a way from a corner of the rec room to an escape up the stairs. In the backyard, we had this row of lilac trees interspersed with other plants. I have no idea what they were. I wouldn't know now. I certainly didn't care then. But they made the perfect worlds. They could be deep jungles for our Fisher-Price adventure people, which for my money are still the greatest toys ever created. Or undiscovered planets for us to write new chapters with our Star Wars action figures. The blocks of cement on our back patio, They were separated by these narrow strips of wood that were just wide enough to fit matchbox cars. And like a gift from the gods, some of those strips of wood were warped up at the end just enough to make ramps. Our matchbox cars ended up needing a lot of paint jobs, but we had so much fun. And those kinds of moments, they can still sneak up on me, even now, 40 years later. I mean, I'm not playing with adventure people because I lost all of them or they got given away, or with Star Wars action figures. These days, it's more likely to be superheroes. And if I could easily turn my camera, I could show you the pile of them I have. But it's also things like playing music with my bands. Every now and then, in the middle of singing a Rolling Stones tune in our lead guitarist Mike's garage, we've got no audience, we've got no goal, no real purpose. We're just guitars and drums and vocals blaring at the inside of a garage door so we don't disturb the neighbors too much. I just suddenly find myself realizing that for a while there, all my attention, all my being, for that moment, was that song. I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't judging it. I was just in it. And that is mindfulness at play. Now, of course, the moment I have that realization, as soon as I start thinking about the fact that I'm being mindful, I'm not being mindful anymore. And that's when I lose the flow and play the wrong chord or forget a lyric, which, frankly, is sometimes also pretty funny and fun. And which reminds me, would you like to get onto the bar to hear that band called Duvet? They're a cover band. You're welcome. Bruce, you can keep any of these. In her book, Deep Play, essayist Diana Ackerman writes, "In rare moments of deep play, we can lay aside our sense of self, shed time's continuum, ignore pain, and sit quietly in the absolute present, watching the world's ordinary miracles. No mind or heart hobbles, no analyzing or explaining, no questing for logic, no promises, no goals, no relationships, no worry. One is completely open to whatever drama may unfold." In other words, play works best when we aren't thinking about play. When we let the joy, the silliness just absorb our attention. But silliness is harder than it looks. At least it is for me. I mean, realistically, I make it harder than it needs to be by clinging to some image of myself as serious or thoughtful or grown up. Toys notwithstanding. Which brings us back to the hokey pokey. There are, in the world, few things sillier than the hokey pokey, and there is absolutely no reason I cannot shake an arm or a leg. I am able-bodied, I am healthy, I understand the rules of the song. But as soon as that song starts, the best I'm able to manage is some sort of non-committal twitch. I'm worried about looking silly, and that keeps me from enjoying the silliness. Is to be truly, wholeheartedly, unrepentantly silly means getting out of our own way, turning off the voice of judgment, that one that worries about how we look, what other people will think, that keeps asking, do I look ridiculous? And then, sometimes, wait, do I look silly enough? Am I doing this wrong? And that is why I am terrible at the hokey pokey. The thing is, we can't make ourselves be silly. Forced silliness is really just awkward for everyone involved. The trick is to let ourselves be silly. Let the moment sneak up on us and happen. To laugh until we cry at the terrible pun. Or dance in our kitchens or in the middle of a street to a song we've never heard before. To sing the wrong words to a song we think we know at the top of our lungs. To weep at the joy and the heartbreak and the music and the silence and the love and the loss and the beauty and the scars there to be experienced in nearly every moment of our lives. Mindfulness through play, mindfulness through anything, isn't just to teach us to be mindful in those moments. It is to give us the tools and the experience and the ability to expand that to everything that happens in our life. So if we learn to be mindful in our silliness, to let go in that way, to let us experience life in that way, it will let us experience so much more. Live the actual moment, Thich Nhat Hanh urges us. Only this actual moment is life. And that openness, that vulnerability, that honesty with ourselves and with the people around us, I get it. It's scary. It's hard. I mean, I can't even do the hokey pokey. And it's not going to come all the time. It will come in fits and starts. But sometimes it's fun. And it is always what connects most strongly all of us one to another as we strive to create and to nurture a beloved community. So, go forth and goof off. And normally this is the part in our service where the speaker poses some thoughtful question for all of us to share. And I'm not going to do that today. Instead, what I would like to do is invite all of you to share something silly. A bad joke, Bruce. A silly song, a silly dance, something. And if you don't have anything, I bet Bruce has plenty of jokes. And if he doesn't, I have more. So wave your hand, dance around fitfully. Let us know, and one of us will call on you. Holly.
What did the snail say when he rode on the turtle's back? Whee!
Whee!
Check the chat.
Thank you, Kathy. Oh boy. If Shakespeare had written the hokey pokey, I might be able to do this one. Oh, proud left foot that ventures quick within, then soon upon a backward journey lithe, anon once more the gesture, then begin. Command sinistral pedestal to writhe, commence thou then the fervid hokey poke. A mad gyration, hips in wanton swirl, to spin a wild release from heaven's yoke. Blessed dervish, surely canst go, girl, the hoke, the poke, banish now thy doubt. Verily I say, 'tis what it's all about. Maybe I could do Shakespeare.
Who's that from?
Kathy posted that. That's from Shakespeare. Let's see. I'm going to remove the spotlight so I can see more people.
Janice.
This is Janice, and I am horrible at jokes. So when I need a pick-me-up, I just ask my friend, she who shall not be named, Alexa, because if I say her name, she will respond. So I asked her for a joke, and she said, here's a Father's Day joke. And I promptly forgot how many fathers it takes to change a light bulb, but there's one to hold the ladder, one to go to the hardware store to get one who needs to do a bunch of other things, but in the meantime, there's one that needs to go out and start the charcoal grill and then finally get back to the project and get it finished.
Well, all right. I told you I have more. Did you hear about the two thieves who stole a calendar? They each got 6 months. I tried buying camouflage the other day, but I couldn't find any. Two windmills are standing on a wind farm. One asks, "What's your favorite type of music?" The other says, "I'm a big metal fan."
Haley has her hand raised.
Oh, go Haley. I knew somebody would stop me.
Okay, so I have this one up. Okay, so this nun gets kidnapped. Okay. And her best friend calls the kidnapper and is like, "Hello? Are you Sis Margaret? I just wanted to let you know how much means to all of us here and how much we just want to see her safe return. We'll be praying for you. We know you'll be going through such a hard time right now, and we'll be praying for you. God bless you." And the kidnapper says, "How dare you say God bless me? I'm not religious." And the nun friend says, "Oh, no, I am so sorry. I did not mean anything by it. No offense." And the kidnapper says, "None taken."
Which, that joke reminds me, did you hear about the kidnapping at school? It's fine. He woke up. Janice.
Well, I don't remember if anybody remembers the Great British Bake Off that we had, mystery thing. And I had the honor of playing Pete Stachio, who was a baker who liked to tell bad jokes. So I dug all mine out. Did you hear about the love affair between sugar and cream? It was icing on the cake. What did the butter say to the bread? Just like Chad, I'm on a roll. What do you call a baker that quits his job? A deserter. Okay.
All right, one more.
One more. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Pecan.
Pecan who?
Pecan somebody your own size.
Hey, Chad, I wanted to say one thing. I asked Bruce to pull out his bad jokes like Janice did, but he said no, yours are bad enough.
Well, that's low praise, high praise. I'm not quite sure. Well, then I will wrap this up with this deep thought. The rotation of the earth really makes my day. You're welcome.